All right, in this video, we're going to finish up our conversation with aspect ratios. So we're going to be covering a lot of material. So I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for you, but can't make any promises. All right, so first question we have is that a movie that was filmed with an aspect ratio of 4:3 is being watched on a 16:9 TV if the 4:3 screen and 16:9 screen had the height of 40 inches. All right, so here's what we have here. All right, so here's our picture, and this represents a widescreen TV. Now with the widescreen TV, sometimes you're dealing with black bars, one on this side and the other one on this side. All right, now here's where you need to recognize this, okay? And that is you're actually dealing with two rectangles. You're dealing with the rectangle, let's try this again. All right, you're dealing with the rectangle that deals with the man, which is right here. Here's the rectangle. All right, I'm not drawing that perfectly, but there's our rectangle. And then you're dealing with the outside rectangle, okay? So it's two rectangles in one, all right? So basically, and the way I have this drawn out is I've separated the two rectangles that represent the man and then the total space of the TV screen. Now, I know that this question may look like information overload, but it's actually pretty simple if you use the displays. All right, so let me clean this up a little bit. All right, now let me kind of highlight something, and that is both the screen and the or both the 4:3, which is the movie, and the widescreen TV has the height of 40 inches. All right, so let me go ahead and put some stuff in here. All right, so looking at this guy here, I know that this is going to be 40 inches. This right here is 40 inches. All right, but we're not paying attention to this right now. That's going to be off to the side for a second. All right, let's look at this man with the TV. If I'm given the height, I know that I have to find the width. Okay, so again, for my visual, I know I'm given the height. What I need to find is what the width is. All right, now what I'm going to do also is I'm going to take the aspect ratio. Now, the aspect ratio is a relationship between the width and height. All right, so we are going to create a proportion based on the aspect ratio. So the proportion starts off with a width over height situation. All right, so we say 4:3, it'll be 4/3 is equal to, now notice the two things we've got to deal with now is the 40 and the x. So we've got to set the 40 and the x in the same relationship as the width over height. So the x is the width, so we're going to set it up as x over 40. And the reason why the 40 goes on the bottom is because that's the height. All right, so when we cross multiply, we'll get 3x is equal to 160. X is equal to, we're going to round to the nearest whole here, 53. All right, so when we start filling this stuff out, like the width of the screen, we just found out that was 53. Now the height of the screen is already given to us. That was 40. All right. Now to find the area of the screen, now the area is just area of a rectangle, which is width times height. So width times height, that'll be 40 times 53. That gives you 2,120. All right. Now let's hold there for a second. Now let's go to our TV screen. All right, let's go ahead and just delete that. Now, the TV screen also has a height of 40, and we have no idea how big the width is. So basically what we're doing is the same exact thing, except now we're dealing with an aspect ratio of 16:9. All right, so same question. It's still width over height situation. 16/9 is equal to x over 40. Cross multiply and solve. Let's see. You would get, but to do this in different colors so it doesn't bleed together. 9x is equal to 640. I'm going to divide by 9. X is equal to, round to the nearest whole, 71 inches. All right. So when we start filling this stuff out here, the height of the screen, again, it's 40 because it was given to us. The width of the screen, we found out that it was 71. To find the area of the screen, again, width times height. You do the math, you get 2,840. Now, it says, what percentage does the black bars occupy? Well, let's go back to our beginning picture here. And I drew a lot on it, so I'm going to erase a little bit. Notice that the black bars do not, or the black bars do take up some space on the widescreen TV. So we're just trying to figure out how much space does the black bars take up, meaning is it 50% of the space, 30%, whatever. And here's what you're going to do, and that is you're going to take the area of the TV, so the area of the TV, you're going to subtract it by the area of whatever show you were watching, and then you're going to divide it by the area of the TV. So the area of the TV, we'll do this different color, it was 2840 square inches minus the area of the screen, which is 2120. And then we're going to divide that by 2840. All right, so 2840 minus 2120, that gave me 720. So I'll put it on, there we go. Divide that by 2840, and you get 25%. So the screen, 25% of it is taken up by the black bars. Very, very simple. Okay? Now, we'll just do this one real quick, and that is the chicken documentary. The chicken documentary, the aspect ratio is 16:9, so, and it's watched on a documentary 21:9. So what I did here, I again took the picture and divided it into two rectangles. All right, so when I divide into rectangles, I'm just going to start labeling stuff. So the TV screen was a 16:9 aspect ratio. The chicken documentary was a 21:9. Now you might be asking, where am I getting these numbers? Well, it says it right here, 16:9 and 21:9. Now notice that the TV has a width of 50 inches. Notice that the TV, as well as the chicken, is 50 inches. All right, so we'll do this in black here. So that means the width is 50. I have no idea what the height is. For the chicken, the width is 50, and I have no idea how tall it is. Okay, so this question is very similar to like the one we just did. All right, so we're going to create a proportion, and our proportion is going to be using the aspect ratio as well as the width and height. All right, so 16:9, 16:9 over 50 over x. Now we're going to speed up a little bit because we already know how to do this. The TV screen has an overall height of 28. Okay, let's go down to the chicken. Let's go ahead and knock it out 2 times. All right, so the chicken has an aspect ratio of 21:9. So I'm going to put that in a fraction. 21 over 9 is equal to, now again remember, the width is 50. It was given to us, but we don't know how tall it is. So the width is 50, so that'll be, width goes on top, 50 over x. Cross multiply, our answer ends up being 21. All right, so when we start filling all this stuff out, the height of the screen was 28. This was the actual TV screen. The width is 50. Remember, that was given to us. Heck, I'll go and put it right there. Width is 50. The area of the screen, that is width times height, gives us 1400. The height of the screen for the actual chicken was 21. The area of the screen was 1050. Now, if you remember what percentage of the black bars, that is the TV minus the chicken. And of course, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm going to divide that by the TV. So the TV was 1400 minus 1050 over 1400. Let's say that ends up being 350 divided by 1400. Your answer is 25%. There you go. That's how easy it is. All right, the last one we're going to be going over is this one right here. So it's similar to a TV, except we're dealing with the painting. So similar but different. So a couple things you need to highlight, and that is a student had this our original sketch, and they're trying to shrink it down to fit into this frame. Now notice that there's space above and below it, so obviously the tiger cannot fit into the frame. Okay, so the question is, what percent of the original sketch was still able to be included into the frame? Okay, so basically what's happening is there's a lot, again, this is a lot of information that I'm giving you right here. But really what's happening is all the information that you need to look at comes from this part right here. Okay, and so this is what we're dealing with. All right, so the relationship that we're trying to find is this, and it's a little confusing, but just stay with me on this. And that is, what is, oops, try that again. So it is the area of the frame, and what we're going to do is we are going to divide that by the area of the picture. Okay, so we have the area of the frame, which the way these questions are set up, the area of the frame is going to be very simple. Because if you notice the area of the frame, the width from here to here, the width is 6 and the height is 4. So the area of the frame, it is a 6 by 4 frame, which means the area is going to be 24. So we already have our numerator. Okay, so that's what makes life easy. Now the next thing we need to do is then find the area of the picture. Now the area of the picture, again, it is a width of 6, so we can go ahead and start up. It's a 6 by, but we don't know. We don't know what the x is because the x represents the height. Now this 4 right here, I don't even need that anymore. That's just extra information. I'm going to confuse myself if I don't scratch it out. So it's a 6 by something. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take the original picture, which was an 11 by 8.5, and we are going to create a proportion for the 6 and x. All right. So it's actually, if you divide it up that way, it's an easy little concept here. And I got to write down here. So I'm going to create a width over height situation. So from the original sketch, that's an 11 over 8.5 is equal to the width, which is 6 over x. And the x came from this height right here. All right. So when I cross multiply and solve, x ends up being, I believe it's 4.6. Check that real quick. Yeah, I'm going to go with it. It's 4.6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 4.6. I'm going to plug it right there because my frame or my picture is a 6 times a 4.6. So when I do that, so 6 times 4.6, I get 27.6. So what percent of the original sketch? Well, let's just go ahead and solve it right there. 24 divided by 27, 24 divided by 27.6. That ends up being 87%. There you go. So again, there's a lot of information here, but you don't use it all at one time. You do it at parts. Okay? Let's try another one. All right, so what we have is a family photo. It's a 7 by 5. And we're trying to blow it up to a 10 by 8 frame. Or it's probably more referred to the 8 by 10, but we'll just go 10 by 8 because it's width. We like to stay that way. All right, so let's go ahead and set the problem up. All right. If you remember, it is going to be the area of the frame, which it already gives us to us, and that's a 10 by 8 divided by the area of the picture. Now the area of the picture, notice what we have here. This x, see how this x goes all the way out to the edge of the picture? And then we have the height, width, which means The height of the picture and the frame are exactly the same. So what we don't know what our width is, but we do know what our height is. So it's a something by 8. So if you set the problem up correctly, like I just did, it makes it very easy. Okay. So let's see, the width of the frame. I don't even need to know the width of the frame anymore. That's just extra information. I'm going to be confused. All right. So notice what we have left, and that is the picture, which is a x by 8. So I'm going to highlight this right here, just so it kind of show out, or not show, but stands out. X and 8. But also we have the smaller picture, which is a 7 by 5. Now with these 4 things highlighted, I bet you can pretty much figure out what we're going to do, and that is set for proportion. So our proportion will be width over height, that's an H. 7 over 5 is equal to x over 8, cross multiply and solve. And we get x is equal to 11.2. So x is equal to 11.2. Throw it in there. I'll do this a different color. 11.2. All right. So let's go ahead and do our areas. 10 times 8 is 80 over 11.2 times 8, 89.6. Divide 80 by 89.6. And you get 89%. So what is percent? 89%. There you go. All right. So those are some aspect ratio situations. Hopefully you found that to be helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.